The valley was a secret kind of place, the sort of place you only found by following a path that seemed to go nowhere, through a gap in the old hills, and then suddenly there it was, a wide green bowl of meadow, filled with soft evening light that came in low and golden and touched the tops of the grasses so they glowed like something very old and gentle. Talo had never been here before. He stood at the top of the small ridge and looked down into it and felt, without quite understanding why, that this was a place where something was waiting. Not waiting in a nervous way. Waiting the way a good story waits, unhurried, ready, warm. He felt something else, too. A low trembling in the air, or perhaps in the ground beneath his feet. Not alarming. Something more like a sound that was too big and too soft to be just heard, something that had to be felt instead. The grasses in the valley were moving, but there was no wind. The breeze was barely there, just enough to carry the smell of evening and distant meadow flowers, but the grasses moved with more purpose than that, in long slow waves that swept from one side of the valley to the other, the way water moves in a very still lake when something large shifts somewhere deep inside it. Talo watched them and understood, slowly, that they were not moving because of the wind. They were moving because of a sound. A vibration. Something so low and slow that it was more like a breathing than a note, a deep, round, barely there hum that rolled through the ground and the air all at once. Talo put one small paw on the earth and felt it. He tilted his head. Somewhere in this valley, something very large and very gentle was humming. Talo looked up and saw something rise above the far crest of the valley, slowly, without hurry, the way a moon rises, and it was enormous. Bigger than the biggest tree. A long, long curve of a neck that ended in a small, patient head. A dinosaur. Its body was the color of old lichen on warm stones, and its legs were like the trunks of ancient trees, planted deep and steady in the earth. It moved with a kind of slowness that only belongs to very large things, the slowness that isn't slow at all, but simply unhurried, because when you are that large, the whole world has a different rhythm. And as it moved, it hummed. Talo stood very still. He did not feel afraid. He felt small. But small in the best way. Small the way you feel when you look at a very large and beautiful thing, and understand exactly how much bigger the world is than you, and that this is perfectly, perfectly fine. The dinosaur had found a wide flat part of the valley where the grass grew soft and low, and it had folded itself down onto the earth with immense, careful slowness, the way something enormous rests when it has decided that resting is exactly what is needed. Its head had come to rest on the ground, turned slightly to one side, eyes half closed against the last of the evening light. And it hummed. Not a tune exactly. Not the kind of humming that has a beginning and a middle and an end. More like the kind of humming that simply is a low, round, continuous sound, like the inside of a very large shell, if you pressed the whole valley to your ear. The grass around it had flattened in a wide, gentle circle. The flowers at the edge of that circle had turned slightly toward it, the way flowers turn when something warm is nearby. Everything in the valley felt quieter than it had before. Talo walked down into the valley. He walked slowly, not because he was cautious, though he was, but because the valley seemed to ask for slow walking, the way a library asks for quiet voices and a full moon asks for sitting still. The grass came up to his knees and it was cool and smooth and made a soft whispering sound around him as he moved. When he was close enough, the dinosaur opened one eye. Very large, that eye. Warm and amber-colored and round, with a calm dark pupil that was not alarmed by Talo at all. It looked at him the way something very old and very gentle looks at something small and new, with patient, soft curiosity. Then it hummed again. Just slightly softer. The way you lower your voice in a room where someone is almost asleep. Talo found a place beside the dinosaur's nearest foot, a great warm smooth hill of weight, like a stone that had been in the sun all day. He sat down. The ground was warm there. The hum came through the earth here, through the grass and the soil and the deep roots beneath, and Talo felt it in the soles of his feet and the quiet middle of his chest, where the sleepy feeling lived. He leaned against the foot. Just a little. It did not move. It was like leaning against something that had always been there and always would be. The hum continued. Low. Low. Lower still. Not disappearing. Just settling, the way things settle when there is nowhere they need to go. They came from everywhere. A small hedgehog from the grass near the far stones, moving in the quick and stop way hedgehogs always move, until it stopped near Talo and curled slightly into itself. A rabbit from under the wide-leafed plants at the valley edge, its ears folded soft. 2 small lizards from the warm rock nearby. They did not look at each other. They did not need to. They were all listening. The hum was the same hum it had always been, low, round, unhurried, and yet now that all of them were gathered and still, it seemed somehow fuller. The way a single voice becomes something rounder when it is heard in a large, quiet place. The valley had gone very still. The grasses had settled into quiet. The flowers stood with their faces toward the last glow at the edge of the sky. The hum was there, always there, underneath everything, in the ground, in the air, in the warm dark beside the dinosaur's great side. Nothing moved except for breathing. And all the breathing had, without anyone deciding, found the same slow rhythm. In and out. In and out. And the valley held all of it. The hum had moved lower. Like a river getting slower and wider as it nears the sea. It was less of a sound now and more of a presence, a feeling in the place behind your ears and in the slow warmth behind your eyes. Talo felt it like something warm wrapped around him, not quite a thing and not quite a feeling, but somewhere in between. Like the memory of being carried. His eyes were not all the way open. His breathing had gotten slower. He was not sleeping yet. He was in the place between being awake and being asleep, the place that is very quiet and very safe. The stars were coming out. Talo could see them through heavy eyes, each one arriving quietly, the way things arrive when everyone is already calm and doesn't want to be disturbed. 1. Then 2. Then 4 more, scattered above the valley in their old patterns. The hum was still there. Steady. Soft. Very soft. Talo's eyes closed. There was still a sound. Or the memory of a sound. Something between those two, in the place just past the edge of hearing, where the world gets very quiet and what remains is only the softest possible thing. The warm. The ground. The slow breath of the great creature beside him. A very old sound. A very safe sound. Talo slept. The valley slept. The hedgehog and the rabbit slept. The flowers were closed. The stars were all out. The grass was still. The dinosaur breathed, very slowly, in and out, and the hum had become so soft and so low that it was nearly nothing, nearly silence, and then, once, it sounded one last note. Just one. Round and warm and barely there. And then the night was quiet. And everything in the valley, small and large, was resting.